Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, case of CIB versus the FIU goes back to court. We have all the details of what transpired over the last 2 days in court. Belize on high alert as the highly pathogenic influenza HPA1 is confirmed in Pelicans on the coast of Puerto Cortes and La Ceiba, Honduras. And cane farmers receive fuel subsidy increase. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Friday, January 6th, 2023.
Ever since I was a kid, I've dreamt of going to Mars. You can keep my dream alive.
Come with me. You cannot, under any circumstances, leave my room, okay? Only for 35 days.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Es un hecho que tu crédito dura más con Smart. Durante estos tiempos, todos buscamos cómo minimizar nuestros gastos y ahorrar a lo máximo. Con Smart, lograr esto es fácil. Es un hecho que con Smart su crédito dura más. Puede llamar de Smart a Smart y de Smart a Digital sin discriminar al proveedor, usando su crédito promocional. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo puede usar su crédito promocional para llamar a Digital. ¿Qué significa esto? Su crédito promocional, ya que viene gratis al hacer sus recargas en temporadas de Double Ups, le otorga llamadas gratis a cualquier número nacional. Sigue con Smart y ahorra más dólares.
I met Alex on the plane. When I woke up in the morning, he was so alive.
I think they know you're lying.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Get her off that stage.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight we're really late.
I was so much fun since this pandemic forced us on lockdown and like my online classes have been so stressful.
Oh my gosh.
And I bet you're glad that you finally get out.
Yes, that's true. And that girl, you may let loose. I never did expect that from you. Oh, Melanie.
Well defended again by Beverly.
Everyone, this is very strong.
George the drive and the finish. Posting up Marcus Morris.
My gosh. Look like Kobe hit him real hard. My gosh, Melanie. Now you the top.
4 minutes and 7 of their 9 points.
You see what I mean? The married life. She can even enjoy her friends like in a peace.
Mind your business. Someday you might find a great guy too.
Exactly. Well, I still kind of have a crush party here because oh, remember the one where I danced with at the wedding?
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, well, I would have go for lockdown with you any day. Anyways, when the gun cause enough trouble for one night, make her walk on the out. Alright. And now I believe I have to go to that place at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Bye. Bye.
Hey, morning. Morning.
Your friend Melanie bring this for you on the way to work? Take it. Check it. You have to be more appreciative. You got some nice friend. And remember, nothing never happened last night, right? Right?
I love you, Jack. You have to do this for you. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. Your future self will thank you.
No. I need help.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, women and girls were at the highest risk of suffering domestic violence. Domestic violence involves violence between any member of the same household. It can happen to females or males, young or old. However, the evidence has shown that women and girls face the greatest risk. That risk has heightened due to the impacts of the pandemic, including job losses, mounting stress, and restrictions to movement and recreation. We can all help to combat violence against women and girls during the COVID-19 pandemic. Just like Melanie did, you can reach out to someone who is struggling and help them to find a way out. It is never easy, but together we can fight this. Belize will not be safe until its women are safe. Secure Belize.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Ever since I was a kid, I dreamt of going to Mars. You can keep my dream alive.
Come with me. You cannot, under any circumstances, leave my room, okay? Only for 35 days.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
I met Alex on the plane. When I woke up in the morning, he was so alive.
I think they know you're lying.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. It has been a few weeks since we brought to you any updates about the incessant court appearances of the FIU and the Caribbean International Brewery Limited and their lawyers. The fight is about convincing the court that the $3.1 million found on site at the CIB's premises in Carmelita in October last year should remain under lockdown for the FIU to continue investigating the origin of the madness or not. We start with the position of the FIU on why the magistrate did not recuse herself from the proceedings as the CIB legal representatives had requested.
The last time we were here, which was late last year, the respondents had filed an application asking the magistrate to recuse herself. And they said that the magistrate was in essence biased because we were in fact representing her in the Supreme Court where proceedings are ongoing. We successfully convinced the magistrate that in fact that is not the case, that the magistrate has never directly retained us to represent her in the Supreme Court, and in fact it's customary for counsel to appear in appellate courts defending the decision of a judge, a magistrate that was given in an inferior court. And even further than that, oftentimes counsel would successfully represent the magistrate or not, and matters would be sent down back to the inferior court where they would once again appear before the same judicial officer. So what we're saying is that that's a customary part of our legal tradition, and it's expected. Judges, magistrates take an oath and they're expected to be impartial.
And now tonight we have more information coming out of Magistrate Deborah Rogers' court here in Orange Walk. As we've told you, the application is to retain or return the $3.1 million seized by law enforcement officers in early October last year. The original application was offered for 72 hours only, even though the magistrate could have offered an order for 3 or more months. Before that period expired, the FIU made an application for an extension on October to keep the monies under lockdown.
What happened is once the magistrate ruled that she was fit to continue hearing the matter, we had an application before the magistrate seeking the continued detention of the cash, which was seized back in October the 6th of last year. And so the magistrate ruled on that matter and had extended the time frame for 1 day, which meant that it would have expired today. If you recall, the cash was seized on 6th of October, and so today is really the 3-month period, and so it would have expired today.
That meant that a decision had to be handed down at the earliest. So lawyers of both the respondent CIB and the applicant FIU appeared to present their final submissions for the judge and jury. Magistrate Rogers to deliberate and come forth with a decision on what is the first amended application that the FIU brought to the court, which expires today. The court ruled in favor of the FIU. But what seemed to have been an easy court session yesterday evening quickly escalated into misinterpretation from the respondents. We asked the FIU's legal representation to break down that for us.
As I mentioned, the cash were initially seized on the 6th of October, yes? Because of the way the proceedings unfolded, the magistrate has had to issue a round of interim orders. And that was prompted by numerous applications which the respondents have made. I believe it's about four applications, all of which have been unsuccessful.
The FIU is given the power under the Money Laundering and Terrorism Act to make multiple applications for detention of cash for a maximum of 2 years. $3.1 million remain under lockdown as the FIU continues to investigate the origins of those monies that officers of the law came upon last year at the headquarters of Caribbean Brewery International in Carmelita Village, Orange Walk. As such, today the FIU were again at the Orange Walk Magistrates Court to convince Magistrate Deborah Rogers that the FIU needs more time to follow the monies found inside 2 vaults. The application had to be made since the first extended application has expired.
Knowing that, we filed a second application, yes, asking the magistrate to extend the seizure of the cash beyond the initial 3-month period. And today we had asked that that extension be granted for a further 6 months. And happily, the magistrate agreed and conceded and issued that order.
So far, the FIU's investigation has begun drawing up an entire web based on their findings, and it is leading up to businesses in the Corozal-free zone.
What we've managed to uncover is a web of companies, individuals who are linked, all linked to the cash that was seized. Of course, remember, the reason why we've asked for the cash to be seized is to allow for authorities to carry out investigations, yes, into allegations of human trafficking, money laundering, tax evasion. At this point, there is, of course, no proof, but that's the reason why you come to court to ask for the cash to be detained, so that you can allow agencies to pursue their investigation.
One of those agencies is the Customs and Excise Department.
Indeed, one of the agencies is the Customs and Excise Department.
Why is that?
Because they're looking at certain information as it relates to the importation and exportation of goods.
It seems that monies went from one hand to others, and then now we've got CIB.
Yes, so of course the monies all that were found on the compound of CIB, but behind CIB they are shareholders, they're associates, and so it's a wide web.
One witness was called to the stand to testify this morning. That person is Senior Inspector Lillian Lopez. Lopez has been working under the FIU since August of 2009. She valiantly poured out the bombshell facts she has found out so far. Hector Guerra, attorney at law representing the FIU's legal team, told us more.
Today really is a testament to the hard work of all the governmental agencies that are a part of this ongoing investigation. The magistrate really said that a lot of evidence has unfolded since the seizure of the cash, and so she was satisfied, looking at what's before her, that she could in fact grant the continuation of the detention of the cash. The investigation is ongoing, and we need to allow that process to proceed before a conclusion in terms of charges is arrived at.
The FIU depended heavily on the findings of Inspector Lillian Lopez to convince the learned magistrate that it was indeed necessary for the court to grant the FIU a 6-month extended application to continue pursuing its findings into the $3.1 million.
Inspector Lillian Lopez, who took the stand and valiantly and clearly, thoroughly put forward the results of the ongoing investigation that has further uncovered the need to investigate certain figures that have been declared. We finished late yesterday evening, and counsel for the respondents, Mr. Waite, indicated that they won't be participating in these proceedings anymore. That notwithstanding, we showed up here today, we brought our witness, the witness took the stand, and based on the investigation that has been carried out by the governmental agencies, we were able to convince the magistrate that the investigation is proceeding substantially and that the continued detention of the cash is warranted.
According to the FIU legal representative, this can all go away, but it all lies in the hands of CIB.
CIB has not yet while it has the opportunity, put forward any evidence in the forms of receipts, contracts, anything to show where the funds that were detained, where they were derived from. And it's now been 3 months since these investigations have been commenced, and the proceedings have been commenced, and they have not done so.
The matter is due back in court on July 6th of this year, and we will be there to find out what happens next. Last night we told you about the highly pathogenic avian influenza HPA1, H5N1 has recently been confirmed in pelicans on the coast of Puerto Cortes and La Ceiba, Honduras. Additionally, HPA1, H5N1 was confirmed in Yucatan, Mexico in November 2022. Given the proximity of the infected areas to Belize, the Belize Agricultural Health Authority, BAHA, is reporting the threat level has been increased to high. Belize has therefore strengthened its technical and strategic response using the One Health approach to reduce the threat, especially since pelicans can be found in Placencia.
The thing is that we did take samples of these two birds. We did a sampling in Central Farm at the PCR lab at Baja, and both are negative for avian influenza. Remember, this is only PCR, but we are monitoring. Baja is on alert. I think the question that everybody is asking is, what risk does it pose to our national flock? We have strong biosecurity measures in place. We have an active surveillance method in place, and so we are monitoring carefully. And if we are to detect it, it will be done early. So far we have no reports from our commercial flocks. So I think that so far we are good. I do not know the state or the department which is affected in Honduras, if it's on the coast or if it's inland. I do not know. I had done some research on that. But Mexico is reported having it in wild birds too. So it's in the region, and we have to keep monitoring and keep the surveillance and alert for any signs and symptoms that may show up in our flocks, either commercial flocks or our backyard garden or backyard flocks.
And is there any way to prevent it from entering the country, knowing that it's right across the borders?
If it is in wild birds, it's difficult to prevent. We don't encourage the importation of live birds from any country, and if we were to do so, it has to be under strict control. But I don't know that we are doing that, to be honest. So do you want to speak about that?
With the avian influenza circulating in our neighboring countries, Baja officials remain on high alert, says Minister of Agriculture Jose Abelardo Mai.
We have Baja officers across the country. They're very on the alert, and we are not moving. There's no commercial production of broiler birds in Placencia. They are net consumers of poultry and beef and other things, right? So you won't find people moving broilers or chicken out of Placencia, right? It's unlikely. Not impossible, but unlikely. And so we have to be on the ground. We are starting our campaign again to inform the public that this is wrong in Honduras, and for us to be vigilant. That's a part of the protocol. We have to educate.
The One Health approach includes one, strengthening the inspections of passengers and vessels at all points of entry, 2, restricting the importation of poultry and poultry products originating from infected countries, 3, testing and proper disposal of confiscated poultry and poultry products, 4, strengthening laboratory capacity for in-country molecular testing of the current HPA1 circulating strain, including surge capacity, 5, strengthening passive surveillance by encouraging the reporting of mortality, purple coloration in comb and wattle, and acute drop in egg production in poultry within the required 24 hours, 6, promoting the reporting of mortality in wild birds and reducing response time, 7, strengthening active surveillance programs focusing on high-risk areas that are habitats for wild birds and border buffer zones, 8, strengthening and maintaining high levels of biosecurity in poultry establishments, 9. Fostering partnerships with the public and private stakeholder agencies, and 10. Fostering partnerships with the Forest Department and mandated wildlife partners. High mortality in birds is reportable to BAHA within 24 hours. Reports can be made to BAHA, MAFSC, Forest Department, MOHW, BPA, or any registered veterinarian. Police suffered a scare last September when samples taken from birds suspected to have a low pathogenic avian influenza at a farm in Blue Creek in the Orange Walk district tested positive to avian influenza in screening serological test done at an accredited foreign lab. The Agriculture Ministry activated the avian influenza emergency preparedness and response plan. The area was quarantined, and 30,340 chickens on 3 farms were sacrificed at a loss of over $100,000. However, when the National Veterinary Services Laboratory of the USA, a World Organization for Animal Health reference laboratory, conducted further tests of samples taken from 141 flocks in Orange Walk, the results were negative and the quarantine was lifted. According to MAFSC, the last reported outbreak in Belize was low pathogenic avian influenza in 2015, and since then no more bird flu cases have been confirmed. It's that time of the year when local onions are scheduled to be harvested in Belize and start hitting the local market. Usually harvesting commences the 3rd week of December, and the local production is made available at market outlets within the 1st week of January. During the Christmas season, there was a high demand for onions, and the Ministry of Agriculture found the need to import some of the product, and now farmers in Concepcion are saying their product is rotting in the fields since the imported onions remain in the market. Today, the Minister of Agriculture told the media he will look into the situation to ensure that we are not looking at a case of haste harvesting.
You have to understand the farmers, right? They want to get the better price on the market. So when there's none and they are the first to harvest, they get the better price. So I understand them. The harvest is supposed to come in this week. But for the Christmas holidays, you have to have onions on the market. So there's a small gap that we need to fill with the imported onions. So we monitor carefully and then we decide what to do. We imported, I think, 40,000 pounds. That should be disappearing now in the next 5 days of the white onions and the purple onions, which is a niche. People don't eat too much red onion or the purple onion. So there's a small amount in the market, but it's nothing that will deter or that will affect the sales of local onions. On the other hand, onions that are in Concepcion and averages, we have to ensure that they are properly cured. But sometimes someone's in a rush, like last year, I remember I visited the farm myself. They had just harvested yesterday and they wanted to sell right away. Now, anybody who buys that onion will lose because the onion will rot because it's not properly cured. Again, we have to give the benefit of the doubt to the farmer. Curing onions in Belize is not an easy thing to do. We have tropical and humid conditions, unlike Mexico that has cooler climate, dry climate, and the onions cure beautifully. So it seals and there's no problem. So I don't think there will be a problem of them not being able to sell their product. But I will probably take this weekend off or early next week to go and visit the fields to see really what's happening. I do not believe it's going to be a problem.
Coming up next, we speak to the 2 Orange Wakeños who now belong to the most excellent order of the British Empire. Stay tuned.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
The government of Belize has confirmed that in an effort to continue to strengthen governance and enhance cabinet's performance, the Prime Minister, Honorable John Briceño, has made a minor reshuffle within his administration. Minister of State, Honorable Ramon Cervantes Jr. will now support Honorable Orlando Habet, Minister of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management, assisting with responsibility for NEMO, the Belize National Fire Service, and the Belize Solid Waste Management Authority. The Prime Minister is confident that this portfolio adjustment will ensure that there is renewed focus on these three critical areas. Before the official start of the 2022-2023 crop season, the Briceño administration announced an increase in the fuel subsidy for cane farmers to mitigate the impacts of the high cost of fuel. That increase has already been awarded, and this morning via our Despierta Belize morning show, the chairman of the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association Committee of Management, Alfredo Ortega, called in the show to share the good news.
El ministro y el primer ministro en su informe de Año Nuevo habían informado de que iba a haber un incremento, pero no sabíamos hasta cuánto. Pero ya la información que conseguimos, Cami, que el distrito de Orange Rock va a conseguir $4.43 y el distrito de Corozal va a conseguir $4.43, 44, perdón, va a conseguir Corozal, de la cual estamos muy agradecidos, Cami, porque eso ayuda bastante a los cañeros en poder cumplir con sus pagos para la cosecha. Realmente en eso estamos agradecidos con el gobierno. BSCFE estamos agradecidos realmente por una petición que hicimos y gracias a Dios lo logramos. Y eso solo quisiera, en cambio, no es que quisiera tirar en alguna situación en esto, pero creo que es para que los cañeros se den cuenta de que cuando BSCFE logra un beneficio, se logra para todos los cañeros. Así es de que realmente agradecidos con el gobierno que nos ha dado esta oportunidad para que los cañeros puedan beneficiar de esta situación en lo que refiere al fuel subsidy.
¿Cómo trabaja eso del fuel subsidy para el cañero, señor Fer, para nuestra gente que lo vaya entendiendo?
En cambio, no todos consiguen igual porque se da por galón, por tonelada, dependiendo la distancia, dependiendo el branch donde estés. Como en el caso de Orange Rock Branch, nosotros solo conseguimos 0.7 de un galón por tonelada de caña entregado, es por tonelada de caña entregado. Si no entregas caña, pues no participas en ello. Pero media vez entregues caña, entonces participas en ello en esa semana que entregaste. Entonces, en el lado de Corozal, creo que consiguen algunos 1.1, 1.2, dependiendo de la distancia donde se encuentran cuando hicieron ese ejercicio. Yo creo que ya es tiempo que se debe de hacer otro ejercicio porque hay cañeros que están en branch cerca, pero sus cañales están lejos, así es de que pues ellos no gozan de la cantidad de vida por medio de la distancia donde están los cañales. Pero sin embargo, pues esa es la forma en que trabaja hasta ahora, Cami, y eso pues realmente ayuda a varios cañeros. Como mencioné, no todos conseguimos igual, pero ya en base de galones, ya el precio por galón sí es para todos igual. Lo único que diferencia es en las toneladas, cuánto consigues por cada tonelada que entregas al ingenio.
Fuel subsidies can be collected at the SICB's office in Buena Vista. A WhatsApp message is currently circulating in Belize regarding the COVID Omicron XBB subvariant that is spreading misinformation. The message, according to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, MOHW, was not released by the ministry. MOHW advises the public not to share this WhatsApp message as the information is false and will cause unnecessary panic and continued misinformation. The World Health Organization has advised that the XBB subvariant is not deadlier than the previously dominant Omicron subvariants and has confirmed that the symptoms of XBB remain mild or similar to that of the flu. In Belize, there has been a recent increase in the positivity rate for COVID-19. However, there has been a significant increase in hospitalizations. MOHW remains vigilant in its monitoring of this virus and other infectious diseases and urges persons who develop flu-like symptoms to get tested at the nearest health facility. MOHW continues to advise persons who are vulnerable, particularly anyone with a chronic illness, persons 65 years or older, and pregnant women, to utilize face masks, especially in enclosed areas, avoid crowded places when possible, and wash or sanitize hands regularly. MOHW also urges the public to get vaccinated and or a booster shot as soon as possible. The minimum wage for all categories of workers has increased to $5 per hour effective January 1st, 2023 in Belize. This new increase in the minimum wage is part of the government of Belize's overall strategy to combat poverty and reduce inequality as outlined in Plan Belize. But while the move spells good news for employees, having to dig deeper into their pockets is leaving a sour taste in the mouth of employers, even those in the agriculture sector.
I think I had heard concerns from the banana growers, not from all of them, from some of the banana growers, I think, that their concern was that their business would be affected because of the increase in minimum wage. Nevertheless, I think that it allows the managers of farms to be more efficient. I mean, if you are paying your worker hard days on salary, then you will ensure that he performs. I pay my work as well, but I need performance, so I need output, right? And so it makes you a little bit more efficient in terms of maximizing the person, right? And I think that's what they have to do. And I think they will fall in, they will make adjustments, and they will fall in. I think $5 is a justified wage for anybody in Belize at this time.
How do you feel that this would affect your constituents? Because not all of them are farmers or cane farmers. Some of them are working jobs who are not paying them $5 right now.
I don't know of any farm worker. I come from a constituency which is 100% farming. I don't know of anybody in my villages who does not earn less than $5, honestly. Because there you are a cane cutter, you're a truck driver, you're a truck operator, you're a cattleman, or what you call cowboy, you do maintenance on farms. Everybody gets $5 and above.
Sir, the public service.
Last night we told you about two of our very own citizens from Orange Walk who has been recognized and now belong to the most excellent order of the British Empire. Today we got the opportunity to visit them at their homes to get their reaction on this prestigious recognition, available to only a handful of Belizeans so far. First, we spoke to Badra Helwa Coleman, who was recognized for her community service. She told us the recognition is for her entire cancer support group, which she has been leading for the past 15 years.
One of my friends called me And she was saying, did you see the Facebook page? Because they're announcing that you got an award. And for me, it's a privilege to be honored with such a high award. And I must thank whoever nominated my name for it. I've been serving the community for 15 years, along with my group. And even though the award comes in my name, I have to give thanks to the group members and to the wider community for all the help, because without them, it wouldn't be possible. I am just the leader and the legwork that goes out to the cancer patients and their families. At first, I felt humbled, being chosen for such a prestigious award is really humbling, but I know that in our community, we have a lot of persons who also give up their time and their effort, and I'm hoping that one day they would be chosen for any award in the community once they are working for our community. And I must say that, we don't rest. I'm right here trying to see where we can get some finance to send those ladies that need radiotherapy, and they need to go off into either to Campeche or to Merida. We have the little boy Marlon still in Guatemala. Right now he's not doing too well, but he's fighting, and so my thoughts and prayers are with all our cancer patients and their families who continue to seek funds to be able to take this treatment.
The second outstanding award was for Benedicto Ramos, who was recognized for his services to education in Belize. He says it all started off with a request. Here are his comments.
I was called from the office of the Prime Minister to submit a resume, and I asked what for, because I am already a retired teacher, and they don't usually ask me for a resume, but they told me that it is for a recognition. I said, wow, for what? I said, because I consider myself an ordinary person. I love what I do as an educator and as a sports person. But they told me it's a recognition that I should submit it, so I did. And it just went off my mind because I said, well, if they recognize me, so what? And I didn't expect anything.
But time elapsed, and then the news came that Ramos would belong to the most excellent order of the British Empire.
A lot of people believe that girls can't do math, and I am totally against that. That's not true. Females, as much as males, females can do very well in that. And I think that a lot of that came about because I had my daughter who, from a very early age, she had problems with math. And I found time, 5 minutes, imagine, 5 minutes every day, midday, I used to teach her math. And she has a bachelor's right now in accounting, just to give you an idea. I think that the people who would feel most proud of it, well, my family to begin with, my daughters, my sons, and my students, because it's for them that I did what I did, for my students. Imparting knowledge and being accepted for that is a recognition that I can't change. I can't change for anything, I love to be an educator. It helped me in my life. It helped me in what I enjoyed, also doing sports. I find out that as a teacher, I could impart knowledge. I learned to teach, and that is the key to everything. I'm very grateful to my students because they taught me a lot. I'm grateful to my family because without them I can't do anything without my family. So I feel good about it. It's an honor to be recognized. I mean, very few of us get recognized, especially when we are alive. I mean, I remember Mr. Sarkozy's famous song, don't wait till the man dead till I right, And at least I think that I have lived to see that, and I feel honored. I really feel honored.
An official ceremony will be hosted later this year when each recipient will receive their respective award. 2022 has come and gone, but there is no doubt that it saw its fair share of traffic accidents, a number of them deadly. As we begin traveling that road down the year 2023, there are a number of things we can do as drivers to avoid traffic accidents. And today, the chairman of the BSCFA Committee of Management, Alfredo Ortega, pleaded to truck drivers to adhere to the traffic regulations.
Quisiera yo mencionarle a los choferes de camión que por favor, chequeen sus luces de atrás, Cami. Realmente es un peligro grande con esos camiones que cuando están viniendo de noche, que no se ven cuando enfrentas el bulto en el camino es porque ya lo tienes cerca. Yo creo que es muy importante, ustedes deben de poner a pensar que si es su familia que viene detrás y se accidenta detrás de su camión, ¿cómo se van a sentir? Realmente yo quisiera hacer ese pedido. Tuve una plática con un sargento de policía y me pidió, mis Fred, dice, por favor, esta semana hicieron checkpoint y los perdonaron, pero la siguiente semana que viene ya no van a perdonar eso, les van a estar dando su ticket. Y realmente cuando ven lo que cuesta el ticket que les dan, es mucho más, hasta 4 veces más de lo que les iba a costar componer esas luces. Así es de que yo quisiera hacer un llamado, Cami, a todos los choferes que por favor mantengan sus luces, especialmente los de atrás, claro, que se vea desde lejos, y también esas luces que tienen de fluorescente, que los ajusten de una manera bien, Cami, porque es difícil cuando estás yendo en el lado opositor y tienen esas luces fluorescentes directo a tu cara, te empaña todo. A pesar del trabajo que está haciendo en los caminos que lo están anchando, hay partes que todavía no están anchos y eso pone un efecto, especialmente en este lado de Orinjoaca, San José. Hay muchas personas que de madrugada están viniendo con bicicleta. Hay algunos que no tienen ni reflector, así es de que uno tiene que estar pelando su ojo fuerte.
And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Monday, January 9th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at ctv3newsbz. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, have a safe and pleasant weekend. Thank you for watching and listening. Good night.